Time to go back and find that class skipping March 7th. Time to go back and find that class skipping March 7th.
All right, everyone is here. It's time for questioning.
Yoon Lee, I'm sure you understand why the official called you here, right?
Yeah? But I didn't steal the sword!
Unfortunately, official Dahao didn't hear Yoon Lee's promise. If we don't recover the sword, we will be breaking our promise to the Luofu and betraying the delegation. We're counting on you to find the truth, official Dahao.
Yes. It's my duty to thoroughly investigate the case. Even though Yoon Lee is firm in her words, we can't just rely on her testimony.
After everything, the sword still got stolen. They should have given it to me from the beginning.
In this case of Gu Yun's theft, everyone involved seems suspicious to some extent. Miss Yoon Lee is the main suspect. First, during the sword gifting ceremony, Yoon Lee openly expressed her intention to steal the sword. She even mentioned it multiple times. After the ceremony, she broke into the Artisanship Commission and destroyed Arumatons in an attempt to get the sword. Am I right?
That's true.
The Realm Keeping Commission inspected the arsenal where Gu Yun was stored, and there were no signs of forced entry through the doors or windows. The only possible entrance or exit was a small window gap, just a few inches wide. Hey! It's just a theft. The box containing Gu Yun was opened and the sword went missing, but none of the other swords in the room were touched. Which means...
Yeah, I don't think it was stolen on a whim.
Exactly. The suspect had a clear motive and took only Gu Yun. So, besides the ceremony participants, only the delegation members had access to the sword. In that case, why would they return it to the Xianzhou in the first place? That makes sense. The delegation, led by the Knight of Beauty, delivered the sword to the Artisanship Commission. The craftsmen who received it testified that they didn't take anything from the arsenal. That makes... Argenti? Oh, that Knight of Beauty. He was with the delegation when they handed over the sword to the Artisanship Commission. You might not know, but he's the one who recognized the sword's origin on Kalevala and escorted it back to the Cienjo. In other words, he's the one who made it possible for the sword to come home. So, he wouldn't have gone through all that trouble to bring it to the Law Fu if he wanted to keep the sword for himself, right? Master Gongshu checked the work records, and I questioned all the craftsmen and apprentices who were on shift at the time. But I didn't find any suspicious individuals. So, did you steal it? Then stop joking around.
I can prove that she came to me after leaving the Artisanship Commission, so she couldn't have stolen the sword.
Put it simply, not everyone who's seen the sword has been to the Artisanship Commission, and not everyone who might want the sword has seen it. So, the only remaining suspect is Miss Yoon Lee.
Fair enough.
So,
I didn't steal the sword.
well, when you've eliminated the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth. If you want to prove me wrong, you'd better come up with some solid evidence.
Let me gather my thoughts. I need to help Yoon Lee clear her name. Did we miss any clues?
I don't want to make things difficult for official Dahao. Let's do this his way and prove my innocence. If I can find that cursed sword, I can prove my innocence right away. That's what I'm trying to figure out right now. There's something else bothering me. Why would the thief take the sword, but leave the case behind? Did they melt down the sword like I wanted to? Yeah, maybe. But if the case was too much trouble, wouldn't it be too conspicuous to carry around the sword like that, in plain sight? There must be a reason why the thief took the sword but left the case behind.
Who could have thought that the Miekaki vesa would be stolen? And that the prime suspect is General Huayan's granddaughter? Regardless, we've accomplished our mission, and now it's the Xianzhou's problem. By the way, why did that girl call it a cursed sword? It's quite upsetting. That's enough, young lady. Let me get something straight. On Kalevala, this sword has always been highly revered. The first master of the Miekaki vesa slew countless demons and then passed it down to a line of wise monarchs. The monarchs would heed the guidance of the hero spirits within the sword and gain insight into defeating their enemies. What is, Helio? What? Never mind. The point is that the Miekaki vesa did help the ancestors of Kalevala build a strong foundation. It's definitely not a cursed sword. The point is that the Miekaki vesa...
If you've found any clues, feel free to tell everyone. All right. Come back to me when you're ready.
Yun Li says she didn't steal the sword, and I am willing to believe her. But I know well that Yun Li can be impulsive, so if she did steal the sword on a whim, I won't show her any favors. You were with Yun Li yesterday, young lady, so you have the best chance to prove her innocence. Is there anything you need to ask me? No, she was still mad at me, so she didn't come by. If she had come with you, she wouldn't be a suspect right now. After the ceremony, Argenti carried the sword case, and together with the delegation, they were escorted by the Cloud Knights to the Artisanship Commission. The artisan there confirmed that the sword was safely stored. I'm counting on you, then. Yun Li says she didn't steal the sword, and I'm willing to believe her.
Yes, I received your message yesterday and went to the arsenal to check on it. But when I went back this morning, all that was left was the case. I don't know anything else, so asking more questions won't help, I'm afraid. However, as the Master Artisan of the Artisanship Commission, I've got to clarify something. Even though the sword was stolen, this commission is still highly secure. Wait, no. I just remembered. My precious Arumatons were smashed. I don't know anything else, so asking more questions won't help.
So, the thief took the sword from the case without picking the lock? Why is this flower petal inside the case?
If you've found any clues,
Thank you. But I'm not sure if I can convince Mr. Dahao.
100% sure. Fine. Let me go through my reasoning again, and you can interrupt if anything feels off. Throughout the entire incident, there was only one suspect who broke into the Artisanship Commission, and that was Miss Yun Li.
Your statement isn't quite accurate. Argenti, the delegation members, and even me, we were all at the Artisanship Commission at some point.
True. But they all left after delivering the sword. And the craftsman overseeing the handover confirmed that they couldn't have left with the sword. We looked into it as well. Before Gu Yun was handed over, the Psy Crane at the entrance of the Artisanship Commission captured you leaving. But there's no record of Miss Yun Li leaving.
Why would I dare leave through the main entrance after smashing the Arumatons?
Throughout the entire incident, there was only one suspect who broke into the Artisanship Commission, and that was Miss Yun Li. Miss Yun Li caused a ruckus at the Artisanship Commission trying to take away Gu Yun, but you stopped her in her tracks.
What Dahao said seems right. Exactly. So at least Yun Li didn't steal the sword at that time, because we were at the Arumaton warehouse.
If your testimony is reliable. I'm not implying anything, but we need to scrutinize every piece of evidence. Miss Yun Li caused a ruckus after bidding farewell to you. Yun Li pretended to leave, but snuck into the arsenal alone and stole Gu Yun.
After Yun Li and I went our separate ways, I messaged Master Gong Shu to inform him about the incident. And much later, Master Gong Shu told me the sword was confirmed safe. So up until that point, Yun Li couldn't have stolen it. Can I prove this?
After bidding farewell to you, we haven't found any other suspects or evidence.
Looks like you're missing some crucial evidence.
There are no signs of the arsenal being broken into, so the only real evidence is the sword case.
No, the fact that there are no signs of a break-in is suspicious in itself. Which piece of evidence should I use to convince Dahao?
We haven't found any.
Can I prove this?
Throughout the entire incident, Miss Yun Li, after bidding, we haven't found any other suspects or evidence.
I found this in the crevice at the bottom of the case.
A rose petal? Huh. I must have missed it during the search. But why was there a petal inside the case?
I don't know. But I do know that wherever that Knight of Beauty goes, he always leaves behind a trail of rose petals that's almost impossible to clean up.
My thoughts are a mess. Let me sort them out. The sword case was never locked, which is evidence that only someone who delivered the sword could have done that. And the rose petal was probably left behind by that Knight of Beauty. But how did he manage to take the sword from the Artisanship Commission? Why did he steal it after returning it here? And why would he leave that petal in the case?
I know. Gu Yun flew out of the case on its own. The Knight of Beauty only unlocked the box to aid its escape.
Don't be ridiculous. How can a sword escape from a case on its own?
You've never seen a flying sword before?
I've only heard about the Mieka Kifesa being able to fly in legends. But even if it could fly, why would the Knight of Beauty do this?
Like I said, the sword contains a heliobus. Argenti must have been under the control of the sword. Maybe he was under its control even before you arrived on the Luofu.
Official Dahao, where can we find that knight?
Let me see. The docking location of Argenti's ship. The one